Proverbs chapters 9 and 10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yehoshai, Ba'ashem, Charakwadash. Give double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Salutes to all the sincere elect out there. Keep fighting. We almost had this bitch. So, Aria, coming back at you with another lesson. Okay. We're going to get into this word here. Proverbs 9 and 10 again. "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." Land backing off my previous videos. Going into the root of, really, it's the lack of fear. Why people are able to do what they do. Whether it be in the truth, in the world, just being downright stupid. Ecclesiastes 10 says, "Folly is set in great dignity." Right? I read that yesterday also. Folly is set in great dignity. I see servants upon horses and kings walking alongside the horses, loosely paraphrasing. It's because folly is set in great dignity and everything is upside down. So there's a lack of fear in the earth. Hence why you got once upon a time we used to call them prophets, but now it's coming out, false prophets, all right, coming against the men of the Lord, making false allegations. It's all going to be found out if it's true. Saying things about GMS. GMS threatened him, Priest Sabak from the HOI, and many other things from the former Sikari camp, taking a bag. And if they took a bag, which is highly likely, it goes into that word. They haven't got fear, right? They lack fear in the Lord. So I just have to get into that. I'll be meditating upon it. First, we're going to concentrate on the word here, fear. Straightforward, Lord winning, straightforward and to the point video. Not a long video, quick video straight and to the point on the word. The foundational word, fear. A wholesome fear we're talking about. Because when you just tap in fear, as a matter of fact, let's see something here. Just tap in fear, see what it says. Fear meaning. Right. Maybe it's because maybe it's because of my voice, the way it sounds on they put it in another way, but we want the word fear, the correct word. An unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, pain or harm. But we're concentrating on here. We're going to talk about panic, all right, dismay, distress, anxiety. But we're talking about worry too. Right, this is just that carnal fear. We're talking about the fear in righteousness, the wholesome fear, fear with a positive quality, right? So what is the wholesome fear? A fear with a positive quality that ultimately enriches and nourishes our lives. Perspective of or anxiety around sickness, old age, and death can be a wholesome fear. Right? They're saying that could be a wholesome fear. We're focusing on the fear of the Lord. That's a wholesome fear. Straightforward in the etymology as well. What does it say? Just want to get the words. Right? I've been meditating on this word fear because, like I say, many are things that be done. Whether you come against the men of the Lord, whether you come against the truth and come against the ultimate most high, if you come against the men of the Lord, the sincere true men of the Lord, the true prophets, right? In effect, you are coming against the order, and the order goes all the way up to the most high God. So you haven't got that wholesome fear, what you lack, right? And you're supposed to anyway, let's read here. It says in the English, fear, calamity, sudden danger, peril, sudden attack. Right, what's it saying here? Fear of God. Here it is. The fear of God calls to cower from the common religious phase. The extent was the fear of God in the native at the point of may not excusing ourselves from the bloody work of the plea of the benefits which he intend. Confer afterward, in the Old English, Farin, if I'm pronouncing that right. Right, and we're supposed to have a fear of God, a wholesome fear of God. Right, and you come against the order, you come against the theocracy, right, the God rule, it doesn't go well for you, and there's so many examples to get into on that. Even King David had to suffer of stepping out of line at a point when he committed fornication with Bathsheba, and he had to face the consequences. But he was put back in line because he was even a man of the Lord can step out. A righteous man can fall. Right, as the scriptures say, a righteous man falls 7 times, but he get back up again. Because the Most High gonna remind you anyway. All right, and the elect are gonna have that fear, that reverence of the Most High. So, etymology, that's just the point there. The origin of the history of the word fear, right, how it's pronounced there, very similar to the correct pronunciation in the English anyway. So, the wholesome fear, and then you got the, I tapped it in, a healthy fear example. Because when you get the wholesome fear, it says here, it enriches and nourishes your life, our lives. The wholesome fear of the Most High. It enriches and nourishes lives. What is a healthy fear? What is a healthy fear? There it is. This is the example. This gives me a good example here. If you see a poisonous snake in your backyard and your fear prompts you to run back onto the house and close the door, that is a healthy fear. The feeling of fear is natural, right? And that can apply also to serving the Lord in so many ways, right? You don't want to go off. You don't tempt the Lord, right? As what these false prophets are doing now, right? Having their head lined up, their beards lined up, their fitted hats, saying that the heathens can be saved. All that is, the root of that is a lack of fear of the Lord, man. It's very plain and simple. It's not complicated. I don't need to overcomplicate anything, right? Here, the feeling of fear is natural and helps keep you safe. Right, there's the point right there. Right, for all of us that are sincere in this truth, it's a natural feeling to have fear and dread of displeasing our Father, same way you would with your carnal father. But other fears are unhealthy and unnecessary. Sometimes the fear makes you more cautious than you really need to be. Right, we're talking about the healthful fear, the balanced fear, the natural fear that keeps us doing the right thing. One more question here. What is the opposite of fear in the Bible? See what it says. I was meditating on it, so I had to look it up. In the Bible, the primary opposite of fear is faith. Yep, talking about the unhealthy fear, the fear that makes you act out of character, and you jump at any and anything. That extreme lack of fear, you jump at any and anything, as some women have a phobia for spiders. Have some women and men have phobias for spiders, and they cringe and just get overly nervous, heart beating at things that really have no need to. It's just an over fear, right? Which is as the scripture says, that fear is a hindrance to progression, right? Loosely paraphrasing, fear is a hindrance to growth and progression. That unwholesome fear. But fear, the opposite of fear in the Bible, is faith, which is trust in God's promises, right? We see the promises on the horizon, the MOTB, that's Revelation chapters 13 and 16. We see that on the horizon, the digital currency, everything that's been promised to the servants of the Lord, right, from the very beginning, right? All the scriptures in Hebrews chapter 11 are coming to pass, right? Fear, the hope of things that is promised, things that are unseen, that soon but shall soon be seen. It's not always, faith is not always something that you can't see. Right? Faith can be seen with the spiritual eye. Right? We see the promises, we see them, as Moses said. He saw the things that was promised, the invisible things, because they were real to him. So that's real faith. You see what most people don't see. That's real faith, right? When you want to put it, just to make it plain. Faith is a person who has a lot of faith sees, as what is it, Lionel said in one of those old cartoons. Lionel, he had the sight beyond sight, which means he was able to see a lot of what a lot of the mortals, according to the cartoon, couldn't see. Sight beyond sight. That's a strong form of faith. Sight beyond sight. So faith is trust in God's promises, presence, and power, replacing doubt with assurance, hope, and peace. Right? Keeps you calm as well. If you want to take it there in the boxing arena, right? Strong faith, confidence in your ability, or even in the Most High, can keep you calm. Right? We've got scriptures there. Do not fear. Isaiah 41:10 says, "Do not fear, for I am with you." Right? And John, 1 John 4:18. As a matter of fact, I kind of quoted this earlier on. 1 John 4:18 says, "Perfect love casts out fear," highlights these themes, showing that reliance on God's supersedes fear. There you go. There you go. Highlight these themes, showing that reliance on God supersedes fear. Perfect love casts out fear, right? Because your love is made perfect through faith. It casts out fear. I mean, that's really the point. That's really the point. I could end it there, but let's get back. I mentioned this as well. What is the opposite of fear meaning? Sure, fear have found people saying the opposite is what? So fear is have found people saying the opposite is courage, strength, the opposite of fear. Courage, strength, in the Hebrew, kazak, right? Strength. Fearlessness, acceptance, security, that's enough. And confidence. Confidence, we're talking about fear in the right perspective, or courage in the right perspective. The opposite of fear breaks down into courage and confidence, but all in the Lord. In this case, it's all in the Lord. There you go. The more I think about it, the more I'm starting to think that the opposite of fear is confidence and self-belief, in our case, in the Lord. Enough said. That's the video right there, man. Point done made. Point blank and period. Fear is the foundation. Why a lot of these people that go off, false prophets, scoffers, and all forms of haters, is because they don't fear the Lord. They have a lack of, that's a real disadvantage, man. In anything, you need a wholesome fear in anything. So the fear of the Lord, back to it, Proverbs chapters 9 and 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. Let's get into some of this. Man. Let's get straight to the word. Right, so we see here, even what Google said, we're gathering the facts of the matter. It is the foundation. Fear, even from what Google said. H3374. Fear, terror. We're talking about the wholesome. Awesome or terrifying thing, object causing fear. There we go. Fear of God, respect, reverence. Enough said. Respect and reverence.
Strong's H3374. Yir'ah. Yir'ah.
Which is going to keep you from doing stupidness. Like taking the bag. Right? Making stupid and wild, outlandish, untrue allegations without even thinking about it. right? They don't fear, they don't pray, right? They don't build up and work on themselves in the way of learning, growing in the spirit, praying for strength, praying for courage. So the ultimate thing is fear. It's the root of the matter, the foundational words that a lot of people they talk about. Let's get get into the deep meat, and they forget the basics, which is going to keep your feet grounded, right? The fear. What else does it do? Fear. Um, Fear does what? H2451. I'm going to entitle this video something to that effect. Fear of God is the foundation. Right? Wisdom, skill in war, wisdom. You know, enough said. Shrewdness, wisdom. So fear gives you all of these other fruits, which are fruits, man, which are foundational. Right? Keep you grounded. Lord willing. Right? I apply this to myself as well. Lord willing. Remember. Right? You start to grow and get a bit more knowledge than you did in the past, and you start to become puffed up, you know. So, but fear keeps you grounded. Wisdom in this good sense, skillful wisdom. Let's see how it's pronounced.
Strong's H2451. Chokhmah. Chokhmah.
Anyway, that's how they pronounce it. But wisdom, skill. That's the point there. That's really the point. Wisdom in a good sense, skillful wisdom, wisely. There you have it, man. That's the foundation. Another foundational word. We want one more. Really, the video is done. Another word here, and knowledge. This is all the fruits, the benefits of having fear. H 1847. Knowledge, perception, skill, discernment, understanding. You know, I'm going to do a video like this, you know, get into the basics as often as possible, because like I say, fear is the root. Fear is the foundation. Yeah. As much as we grow and we learn and we get into the deeper breakdowns, we can always come back and get and refresh the foundationals as well, the basics as well. Knowledge, perception, skill, discernment, understanding, which is ultimately the understanding of the Lord, and wisdom, which is going to keep you on the ground, Lord willing. Yeah. So we went into that with the fear. That's the point. Fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord. Let me see one more thing here. See what it says in the NLT. It says the fear of the Lord is the Let me take my time on that one. I kept saying the word. I'm gonna end on that right there. That's the word of Yehovah Shimon Shai, Kala Yehovah Shimon Shai. Sometimes just let the scripture speak, man. So that's Proverbs chapters 9 and 10 in the NLT says, the fear of the Lord is the foundation of wisdom. Knowledge of the Holy One results in good judgment. The word of Yehovah Shimon Shai. Kala Yehovah Shimon Shai, Ba'ashemaka Kodash. Fear of the Lord is the foundation. To the next one.